January 1945, near the Belgian village of Foy, the Battle of the Bulge had entered its final brutal phase. For weeks, the 101st Airborne Division had been holding defensive positions around Bastogne in freezing conditions. Now, elements of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment were ordered to advance and clear German resistance near Foy. The ground was open, snow-covered, exposed, and the Germans knew it. German defensive doctrine emphasized timing. Machine gun teams were not meant to fire at the first sign of movement. They were trained to wait, to hold fire until the enemy was fully committed, fully exposed, then unleash overlapping fields of automatic fire. In winter terrain like Foy, that meant waiting until the Americans stepped into the clearing. No hedgerows, no walls, no protection. The MG-42 was one of the most feared weapons of the war, capable of firing up to 1,200 rounds per minute. Its purpose was not precision, it was suppression, shock, and destruction through volume. Two properly positioned MG-42 teams could pin down an entire company in seconds. On that morning, American paratroopers prepared to move. Rifles checked, ammunition counted, heavy weapons teams positioned to follow. The advance required coordination. They would step off together, cross the open ground quickly, close the distance before German gunners could fully react. Timing mattered. Every second mattered. Across the clearing, concealed along the tree line, German crews waited. Tripods dug into frozen soil, fields of fire carefully measured. They were not supposed to fire early. They were supposed to wait until the Americans were in the open, until retreat was impossible, until panic would multiply casualties. Then something shifted. One German gunner believed he saw movement in the snow. A shape? A flicker? Perhaps only a shadow? Perhaps nerves after weeks of relentless combat. He hesitated, just for a moment. Then he squeezed the trigger. The first burst shattered the silence. The MG-42 roared. Snow erupted in a violent spray across the clearing. Tree bark exploded from impact. The sound echoed through the frozen forest. But the American line had not stepped off yet. They were still inside the tree line, still partially concealed, still alive. The premature burst changed the equation instantly. Instead of walking into intersecting machine gun fire, the 506th now knew exactly where the German positions were. Muzzle flashes burned against the snow. Smoke marked the firing lanes. The element of surprise was gone. American officers reacted immediately. Men dropped prone. Return fire began within seconds. Bar teams shifted their angles. Riflemen concentrated on the flashes in the trees. Mortar crews began adjusting range. What could have been a massacre in open ground became a firefight with identifiable targets. Had the Germans waited 3 more seconds, the first American wave would have been fully exposed. Intersecting machine gun fire would have cut across the clearing. Momentum would have stalled instantly. Casualties would have mounted before the Americans could reach cover. In open snow, there is nowhere to hide. Only distance, and bullets travel faster than men can run. Instead, the early burst stripped the defenders of their greatest advantage: surprise. Within minutes, American supporting fire intensified. Mortars bracketed the suspected machine gun nests. Rifle grenades arced through the air. Suppression shifted the balance. The German crews, now exposed by their own muzzle flashes, were forced to reposition under fire. The fight for Foy remained fierce. There were losses. There was confusion. Winter combat rarely unfolds cleanly. But the clearing did not become the slaughter it might have been. The premature trigger pull had altered the opening seconds. And in combat, the opening seconds often determine everything. After-action reports from the fighting around Foy note how quickly positions were identified once firing began. In snow-covered terrain, concealment depended on silence. The first weapon to speak often revealed itself. That morning, the German machine gun spoke first, and it spoke too soon. 3 seconds is almost nothing in ordinary life. In battle, 3 seconds is the difference between stepping forward and never standing up again. 3 seconds too early can collapse a perfectly prepared ambush. 3 seconds too late can destroy an advancing company. Hundreds of paratroopers of the 506th survived the Battle of the Bulge. Many would later describe how survival often hinged on moments no one could predict. A premature shot, a mistimed signal, a fraction of hesitation under pressure. War does not reward perfection. It punishes hesitation, and sometimes it punishes impatience even more. Near Foy, in the winter of 1945, a machine gun fired just a few seconds too soon. And because of that, an entire battalion crossed open ground, with far fewer casualties than expected. Not because of strategy, not because of luck alone, but because in war, timing is everything.